I have no answers, and I wish I did. I've sought answers. I
Mm-hmm.
can't get answers. I don't know. Like we can't figure it out. And I've always been known on the council as being an investigator. I'm going to investigate. I'm going to have everything figured out. I'm going to have concrete proof of it. And it's like putting a puzzle together that you
Mm-hmm.
don't have all the pieces to. I mean, it
Yeah.
is the strangest just situation in general. It's disheartening, because I mean honestly, it's a form of human trafficking.
Yes.
It, and
Yes.
that's the way that I begin to look at it. That's not fair to these people either. Like it
Exactly.
is wrong. They're doing them a disfavor. I don't agree with it at all. And
Yeah.
it's very alarming. And
Mm-hmm.
who are standing up for these people being taken advantage of? I just don't understand. It's a no-win situation for them. The resident. It just nobody wins in this situation the way it is, and I hate it for we don't have the resources
Yeah.
to help. I actually had a guy reach out that's a coach and an educator who lives about an hour away, and he said, "Laura, I'll help you any way I can." He said, "I do know, the Creole, French, well, whatever their
Good.
language."
Yeah.
And he
That's
said,
great.
because there was an arrest made last weekend in the court office, the police officers, nobody could
They have
communicate.
nobody. Yeah. I talked to the chief of police of Russellville because
Hmm.
people have been reporting incidences there. And he's like, well, we don't really have a designation for Haitian or Haitian migrant on the incident form, so
Right.
who knows how many things are happening because they're not categorized in a certain way.
Right. And there's not a translator app like there are for other languages that they can use to translate. And that's
Right.
an issue. Like it
Yeah.
is a major issue because I know at other times, if there's been Hispanic, people arrested, they've been able to just pull up the Google translator app and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
Right.
they brought translators in, but it's very, there's not many around. And
No. I mean, obviously you are on the council and they've
right.
kept you in the dark.
Right. I've had no idea. Like, I work for the people and my people are alarmed and, I got a job to do and
Mm.
it's hard to do your job when you're just constantly hitting roadblocks and dead ends and
Yes.
there's no answers to give to the people. And then, it looks like we're dishonest because I mean, but I'm just as much in the dark as anybody and I have no idea what's going on. And I mean, I met with Congressman Rogers' assistant for several hours a couple weeks ago, and we were trying to put pieces of the puzzle together, and it was like there were you were missing all the middle pieces that made
Yeah.
the puzzle finished, and so we don't know. I mean, and I hate to not have information for the people, but it's
Yes.
not from the lack of trying. I have
Yeah, I
gone
believe it.
to every resource possible that and every elected official that I know. I mean, and it's roadblocks. They don't know
Yeah.
anything either. And so, where there's uncertainty, that creates confusion and chaos. And that's where you
Mm-hmm.
get, the rumors that start floating around. But it's alarming. It honestly is because there's no transparency with it at all to us.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
Mm-hmm.
a language barrier there. We can't communicate with them to say, hey, why are you here?
Right.
And so it's a no win situation.
Did you feel as though your fellow councilman Tiffany Nix that her actions were right in shutting down public comment?
No, I do not agree with that at all. I will say the last two meetings since that meeting, the council has been more united than we've ever been. And the people have been allowed to speak. The people have been, they wrote their questions down, but then they got to explain their
Hmm.
question.
Okay.
And I mean, nobody was skipped over. Everybody got their question answered and they were allowed to elaborate on it. And people just want to feel heard and validated. We are their representatives. We're voted in by them, and if we don't know what they want, how are we representing them?
Yeah.
And I believe that, it should not have been shut down. I mean, I've stood strong with that. I do not think that the people should have been silenced. I think they had every right to address the city leaders.
Hmm. How are they getting driver's licenses? We don't have the driving test in Creole. How are they passing the driving test and getting licenses to drive cars? And where are they getting these cars from?
Well, I actually went by and I got some photos of the cars, and they're a buy here, pay here lot. That's
Mm,
not in Sylacauga. It's in another part of the county,
okay.
and I'm not really sure. I do know that one asked a local business owner that's kind of befriended that if they could help them fill out a job application, and it's been a real struggle and a language barrier. And of course, she's an amazing person, and she was like, "Yes, I'll help you." And so she started trying to figure out. They had social security. He had a social security number.
Hmm.
How, it's just bizarre.
They shouldn't be giving them social security numbers.
If
I mean, you can give them a worker ID. They have. I don't understand that.
And my problem is that I have constituents who have paid thousands and thousands upon dollars to become an American citizen. I mean,
Yeah.
I have written several letters on several of my constituents' behalf, and I say they live in my district, to help them gain their citizenship. And there's one that's been here 20 years, and I just did a letter for him. And I mean, it's still, he works in your concession stand at the school. He is the one who's organizing litter pickup on, a road. He is somebody who is a wonderful functioning part of our community, and yet he is going through pure agony just to become a citizen.
Yeah.
And that's where he's dotted all his I's, he's crossed all his T's, he's gone through whatever's requested of him. Yet it's thousands and thousands of dollars later, and lots of, having to go out of town to go to the court dates. He's been put through the ringer, but yet people are just flowing in. How is
Yeah.
that fair? How is that right?
Yeah. It's definitely not. It's definitely not. Um.
Good at all for anybody. I mean, and I feel bad for the Haitians that are coming here. Like, it's not fair to them either. It's
Yes.
not it's not fair to any. This is a no-win situation right now.
Hmm.
And I just don't understand it. I don't get it, and I wish we had more answers, but there's none. I mean, it's radio silence from the people who have the answers.
Right. What is the surrounding industry in the area? I mean, I know Sylacauga is a very small town, but where are they working? What's the industries that they're pursuing?
We have yet to figure that out.
Okay.
We
So
we've
even that is opaque to
we've yet, I know that a industry in Clay County, not anything to do with the poultry plants and stuff. Sorry, I was trying to move my camera around.
No,
Um,
no, no. That's okay.
but the poultry plants are not. They're not hired there. But there is a cabinet shop who is phenomenal. That
Mhm.
that they they are they are starting to hire them, because I mean they need workers, but they did
Yeah.
not bring them here. They did not,
Mhm.
and
Okay, yeah.
yeah, they did not bring them here, and they'll make sure that they're legal
Yeah.
for sure.
So they will follow the e-verify laws and, do
Yes,
their due
they're
diligence.
great people, and but I was like, once that gets out, it's going to be assumed that that they brought them in to work,
Mhm.
and that's not the case. They've gone to
Yeah.
multiple industries and businesses to seek jobs, so
Okay.
they're not here. We've heard work visas. No, they're not here on work visas, or they would have a job secured. They would not be seeking jobs. I mean, I know about 15 of them went to our pallet place seeking a job.
Mm.
And
So that's the odd thing is someone dropped them off or directed them to Sylacauga.
right. And one, the language barrier is kind of getting better between him and we've had a local business owner that has gotten some answers. He did we she figured out that he came from Orlando
Okay.
for
Okay.
jobs, and the people in Orlando, we don't know who they are. We don't. That's as far as she's got with him. But
Mm-hmm.
there's something about Orlando, and they was told there was jobs, there was industry here, there was work here. So
Mm,
that brings me to believe that it's a temp agency of some sort. Maybe I don't know, but
right.
that's I don't have concrete proof of that. But that is what he has said. That hey, there's jobs, so that just
Mhm.
would makes you think. Well, that's one of the temp agencies,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
so
definitely. How many temp agencies are in your region that you are aware of?
one,
One.
and I could be off,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure there's just one, and it's I think temp force.
Temp force. Okay.
I just don't have many answers other than
Hmm.
again, I don't mind. I we have to be careful. Again, in how we handle it. We have
Yeah.
to be. It's a catch-22 with the entire situation, but it's not fair. I mean, to
Yeah.
anybody, and it's especially not fair to city leaders who do not have the adequate resources to provide to the community. I mean, it takes away from the people we serve.
Most definitely.
And our school system, they're not equipped with translators. They're not, which it does seem to be mainly men in their 20s and 30s from
Hmm.
what we've gathered. And there's maybe one or two women,
Hmm.
but it's mainly men. And I don't know if they have families back home. I do know, according to Walgreen employees, that they're coming in and they're wiring money back quite often back to Haiti.
Okay. To back to
And
Port-au-Prince. Yeah.
right. And there's a language barrier, and they get frustrated because of
Hmm.
the language barrier. And but they are going into Walgreens and wiring money back.
Hmm. It's becoming a matter of public safety, really.
Right. And
It seems.
I see it. I get it. And that's the problem. Haiti, they don't even have a president at this time. There's no
Right.
laws, there's no regulations, and that's the culture there. And then coming here, where we're very regulated with laws and stuff, that's culture shock. And
Hmm.
there needs, I just, we've got to get it figured out. You know, if the federal government's sending them or whoever sent, there needs to be money sent to us, to the city, to provide adequate resources, because
Right.
it's taking from us. Having to, there's translators now popping up that's for hire. And now one offered it, like he's a coach and an educator from a different place. But I talked to the chief deputy of the sheriff's office, and they had one that was willing to do it, but it's a business for him.
Hmm. Right.
So it's just that's again taking resources and funding from the citizens.
Definitely.
And it's just not right. The whole situation is just not right.
Hmm. Is there anything that, because funding is filtered through the state for certain things, is there
Hmm.
anything, can Governor Ivy be petitioned to redirect funds at this point, or the legislature petition to redirect funds at this point?
I haven't got that far. I did request from Mike Rogers' assistant that I met with for several hours. I said, look, I said, when it starts, when we start having an influx of students in the schools, we've got to be able to have the funding to pay for translators.
Yeah.
We've got to have that available.
Mhm.
And what's the plan? They were looking into it. I was like, what's the plan for our schools? What,
Right.
and I'm going to get to that point with the state as well, with the governor and with our legislators. And we have a meeting coming up. It's going to be like a town hall, and we'll
Nice.
have Ben Robbins, which is our state legislature, um,
Mhm.
legislator, sorry, and Lance Bell, who is our senator for District 11, and Keith Kelly, who's senator for District 12, and several county commissioners, the city council, the mayor. Everybody is, uniting and trying to get a message out to the people of what they know that we may not be aware of. We have a great,
Mhm.
I have a great relationship with them, and so there's a lot of communication there. But Lance Bell is going to the border, and he's meeting with Homeland Security this next week. And so whatever
Nice.
he learns, he's bringing back to us. And so I truly, Lance is a fantastic senator. He really is. And he really takes the time to learn and, help the people. And I, I appreciate what he's doing. So when he comes back, our town hall is on the 24th,
Okay.
and he'll bring that information back, and he may not get anywhere. He may be like, it seems to be there's not information out there, but I'm hoping that there will be something that we can provide to the people from his trip. I just, we need answers, the people need answers. And you know I feel like it's like, well, the people feel misled, but I mean, because there's not answers, but we're just as much in the dark as they are.
Mhm.
And we got to get this figured out. I mean, it's just a disservice to everyone involved.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I know that the governor's office, Senator Tuberville, Senator Britt, they, Congressman Rogers, they're all proactively working to find answers and to, see what can be done from a financial standpoint as well. But I have not directly reached out to the governor about the financial part of it. I did talk to, again, to Congressman Rogers'
Yeah.
assistant. But
Yeah, you're doing it in the proper order, which is
right.
perfectly
So
fine.
I hope to have answers soon. It's just a mystery. I mean, it really is. And
Yeah.
I have so many questions, like, why Sylacauga? Why did they
Mm.
choose here? What made Sylacauga look inviting, to come here? We do have a housing crisis. We do not have a lot of available housing. So I know it was not, cheaper housing, because there's nothing much really available. I mean, yes, they rented a duplex and a trailer, but still there it's not really. There's people constantly looking for rentals. There's people constantly looking for housing, and we just don't have a lot available.
Mhm.
And again, we don't have resources. I'm curious what put us on the map,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I would love to have those answers. But again, I'm constantly hitting roadblocks. So we need help. I mean, that's just because the way it seems is that they're just continuously trickling in. Um, I had several constituents notice, these cars with Florida tags, and three of them get out of the back seat and the car takes off. I mean, and
Mhm.
that's not just rumor hearsay. I've had people directly call me that witnessed it and said, Laura, something's up.
Yes.
And so I don't believe they're coming in on charter buses, as the rumors have. I think they're trickling in here and there.
Mhm.
And I just worry. I worry about, once I don't want to see us overpowered.
Mm.
That's what
Mhm.
concerns me. I
Mhm.
don't, because again, their culture is different from ours. There's not rules and regulations, and we
Mhm.
have it. And if you have enough to defeat our police force and stuff,
Yeah.
that's concerning.
Right. Right, most
So
definitely.
I don't know, but better days are ahead for sure. I do know that, and I hope, to see some changes with the influx of immigrants, coming in, and others having to face, thousands of dollars of rough, I think it needs to be like that across the board. Everybody deserves to go through the same process, the same
Hmm.
consistency with that, and it needs to be a tough vetting process.
Yes,
And I think that's only fair to the people of our country in general.
most definitely.